To get started right now, if people could quiet down, that would be amazing. So good if you could quiet down. Awesome. Yeah. We're getting started. Yeah. Shut it. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And hello to the internet. Thank you for watching. I'd first like to thank, I don't know how many of you went to Media Democracy Day. It was amazing. I would like to thank Tyler and Gala, who took the lead coordinating that. Also the advisors, Stuart Points, Kathy Cross, Robert Hackett, and David Murphy. Let's give a round of applause for all of them. I've been involved with Media Democracy Day for a few years now, and that was definitely the most awesome Media Democracy Day. Definitely the most well-attended, and definitely the most interesting discussion and dialogue. I'd first just like to thank W2 for hosting us, especially Will, Sean, Erwin, Leanne, and all of the wonderful crew out there who have done an amazing job. Round of applause. I'm Steve Anderson. By the way, I should mention that. I'm Steve Anderson. I'm the National Coordinator of openmedia.ca. I'm also one of the advisors to Fresh Media. I would also like to thank Vancouver Community Television Association because they're filming this event, so we're going to have all of this archived online, and I will force all of you to watch it later. I'm really excited that this event will help support their work as well. So I would like to know who here is excited about the current possibilities with media and the internet. Yeah, good. I'm in the right place. Okay, so this is part of a series of events. It's an after party for Media Democracy Day, but also part of a series called Fresh Media Remixology. And basically that series is about bringing people together to celebrate independent media and innovation, and to enable new projects to come about and to discuss the future of media. And in doing so, we like to not just talk about media, we're actually remaking media as we do it. So this is a live TV show right now, and like I said, we're going to have it online. We have the Twitter thing going on. People should tweet stuff. That will be online forever. So we're not just talking here, we're actually remaking media right now. And that's good, because I feel like we have a window of opportunity right now where corporate media, traditional media, is in a state of crisis. It doesn't really know what it is anymore. And yet we have the open internet, which is amazing. It's the most open medium we've ever had in our entire history. And so this moment, you know, media is in a state of flux, and so it's really an exciting time for us to capitalize that and actually remake the media ecology towards more democratic and participatory lines. And I was saying, we want to celebrate the need. Tara will say more about that. I'm also really happy that we have Steve Pratt from CBC Radio 3. And this is really perfect because there's really, you know, we want to learn from the exciting projects that are already doing amazing work, and CBC Radio 3 is certainly a perfect example of that. CBC Radio 3, for those of you who don't know, the website features 100% Canadian music and has been nominated for a Webby Award 2 years in a row for Best Online Radio Station. It's probably the best example of utilizing the open internet to support Canadian culture. And I really think, personally, I think public media is essential. So much so that a couple weeks ago, I actually got up at 8 a.m. or got up at 7 a.m. and went down to the CBC's annual public meeting. Like, that is how much of a geek I am for public media. And the reason I did that is because I think that public media can be like the CBC in general, can be a transformative platform for expression, informed opinion and innovation. And I think CBC Radio 3 is sort of leading the way there. So it's wonderful to have Steve Pratt. So who is Steve Pratt? I keep mentioning his name. Who is this guy? He's the director of CBC Radio 3 and CBC Radio Digital Programming. He's a regular speaker on the subject of the future of music, the future of media, maybe the future of everything. Traditional media and new media, the power and proper execution of social networking. In the past, he's also worked for MuchMusic, AOL Canada, CTV, and YTV. So an ideal person to kind of tell us about how CBC Radio 3 has done the amazing things that it's done, and how can we engage with that and support that and create more exciting projects along those lines. So I will pass it over to Tara.
My name is Tara Mahoney. I'm an advisor for Fresh Media, and I also am community outreach coordinator for a local nonprofit film school called Pull Focus. And I'm also running my own, with my business partner, independent media project called the Gen Y Media Project, about the current generation of young people and our unprecedented ability to sort of change a lot of things in society. So that's my little plug. I'm actually really here to introduce Karen Pinchin, who is the editor of OpenFile Vancouver. OpenFile is a collaborative local news site that matches professional journalists with stories suggested by the citizens. It's actually a really amazing, exciting new model because it's taking sort of crowdsourced story ideas and matching them with professional journalists. So journalists can continue to do their craft and be recognized for that, but then also incorporating the stories that matter to people, which is great. And tonight, their site's going live next Monday, so tonight is kind of a bit of a welcoming celebration for them, for yet another amazing independent media group here in Vancouver. It seems like there's a lot of momentum happening, and we're excited to welcome them here. Karen has been a reporter and an editor for Maclean's Magazine, the Canadian Press, and Newsweek International. She's going to be our moderator for tonight, and Claudia, where are you, Claudia? Claudia's right there. She's going to be passing cards around the audience so you can ask questions, and then we'll pass them to Karen, and then just kind of keep the conversation going that way. And then that's it for me.
Let's get a round of applause for our speakers to come out. I just want to thank a few more people I just thought of. One is the Hospital Employees Union for supporting open media in this work. Also Agentic Communications for also supporting this. And I also want to thank Katie Razzo, who organized the media fair, which was amazing, at Media Democracy Day. So without further ado, come on up, Steve Pratt, Karen Pinchin.
Okay. Thanks, I'm really excited to be here today. This is awesome. And to be able to come up and talk about what Radio 3 is doing with this type of audience is really exciting, because I feel like a lot of you already get this stuff and are doing it. And what I want to do, first of all, who's on Twitter here tonight? Anybody? Yeah? Okay, good. So we have a few hashtags for tonight. You could do Remixology, you could do Media Democracy Day, or I think MDD Van is the other one on there. If you want World's Best Speaker would be good. #1 Handsome Man, or if you don't like it, Shameless CBC Horror. Okay? So whatever hashtag you want, just go crazy. There's an odd thing to say off the top, that I have to say that I love radio off the top. Because maybe it'll make more sense at the end why I have to say I love radio, because some of this stuff is actually about some of the problems with just being radio. But I love radio, and I'm going to start off with some of the reasons why I love radio. And particularly music radio. I'm going to talk a little bit about things in context of Radio 3 tonight as music radio, because that's where my area of passion and expertise is. But I hope you guys can understand where the value is in other areas of media, and whether it's print or different genres of media as well. But music radio plays songs that I love. It surprises me with songs that I've forgotten that I love. There's trusted guides, the hosts, one of whom is here tonight, I think. Lana Gay is here tonight too, yeah. Trusted guides, experts who introduce me to new songs and artists. It can create moods and emotions with the types of music that you program. And it's a shared experience too, when everybody's listening at the same time. You get this really awesome thing knowing that all sorts of other people are having the same thing in real time with you. But there's a whole bunch of things that terrestrial radio, regular radio, doesn't give me. There's one stream for everybody, which is part of the perk, but on the flip side, it's not my stream. I can't do anything when a song that I hate is played. Who here would love to be able to skip the radio half the time? Right. I can't play my favorite songs whenever I want. I know that maybe before I worked at Radio 3, I would sit around waiting for the radio, being play the song, and you wait for hours and get angry at it. I can't share my favorite songs with my friends, so that when I love something, I can't just send it to them and say, and check it out. And I can't meet other people who like the same kinds of music that I do. This is kind of my view of what is some of the, and it's not entirely fair, because radio actually is more than a passive medium, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it's something that is still sent out, that we consume passively. We sit and listen to it. And to me, that's kind of part of the old need, is you consume media. It's a broadcast model. By definition, it's a broadcast, one to many. And the problems with it are also some of the benefits. Why it works is mainstream audience and mainstream content is the way that it works. You have to put out stuff that appeals to a lot of people. It's designed for big audiences and big ratings, but it's not designed for me personally. So the odds are more that I'm going to like mainstream stuff and a broad mass appeal thing, but I'm not necessarily going to love it. The new needs are pretty interesting because it's personalization, participation, creation, community. It's a very active mindset, which is really different than terrestrial radio. I'm going to go through a couple of people here who have written interesting stuff around this, kind of experts in this area. The first one is this guy, Jeff Jarvis, who founded Entertainment Weekly. He used to be part of Big Media, but he's written a really interesting book called What Would Google Do? That puts a lot of traditional media in what would Google do in that space. And it's some of the answers are very counterintuitive for it. Some of his words of wisdom from the book are that the customers are the ones who are now in charge. Before, it was the people who ran media that got to make all the decisions about what was best for audiences. People can find each other and go in favor of you or against you now. Very, very easy for people to find each other and coalesce as groups. And the mass market is dead and replaced by a mass of niches. And I don't know if I would agree with it. The mass market is dead. If you look at where the numbers are, it's still, radio and television still dwarf anything that can be put on the internet in terms of an individual product for it, and the internet can't even actually handle it if all the TV audiences migrated entirely to online yet. But I think it's certainly going in that direction. I think all of you can understand the value of the power of a mass of niches online, because it's that stuff. When it's a niche, more people will love it. This is an interesting one. If Google thought like an old media company, it would have controlled content, built a wall around it, and tried to keep us inside. And that seems like such a silly thing, because we know that that's exactly the opposite of what Google does, but it's exactly what traditional media does in a lot of the digital space. I think it got mentioned earlier that I used to work at AOL a long time ago. That's exactly what AOL was. It was a walled garden, and you see what's happened to them these days. Really doing well.